I want to talk about, can you rinse your brushes, your acrylic paints? Can you run that down your drain? Are you going to clog your drain? Yes and no. Acrylics are plastic. When they dry, it's a piece of plastic. That's what dried to my palette. It's a big old chunk, like a full-on bendy, that's plastic. So if you are not doing this right and you're just rinsing huge chunks of acrylic paint down the drain, that potentially could cause issues. Not super likely, because as it's running with the water's going to thin that out. But why risk it? Just let's say I've been painting. I've got this huge chunk of paint. I don't want to take this and just rinse it directly into my water container. One, that's going to make my water container get dirty very fast. It's also going to create a thicker sludge at the bottom, which I would rather not have the thick sludge going down the drain. So instead, what you want to do is, before you rinse this in your water cup as you're painting, wipe as much paint as you can get off on a paper towel first. So there's not much paint left on there. Now you're going to take that and rinse that in your water container. Now, both my brush and my water container, I have stained water. It's not really that thick, chunky plastic. That can go down the drain. I can have that super dirty, even if it's a little sludgy. I can pour that down the drain, no problems. It's those thicker chunks. That's where there could potentially be a risk. If that somehow dried in your pipe, that might be a problem. Now, on the flip side, acrylic paint, you run hot water through it, it's going to loosen up and break up. So it's not as scary as you might think. I know I'm showing you the plastic chunks, but you're probably not going to flush or rinse that thick of chunks down there, but don't rinse thick chunks of paint down the drain is the moral of this story. If you wipe it off on your paper towel first, then rinse it in that water can go down the drain. Your brush could be rinsed in the sink with that water going down the drain, no problem. Now, where I have seen problems where people assumed it was the paint that clogged it, using my methods, the safe methods, where I know I used to teach at a place that also taught cake decorating classes, and the cake decorators kept breaking the rules. You are not supposed to put fondant. Is that how you say it? Fondant, whatever, that frosting. You don't put that down the drain. That is greasy and absolutely clogs drains like crazy. So what was happening is they would have a class, they would clog up the drain, but we didn't realize it was clogged yet. My class would come in and paint, and they would throw the safe water down, but that safe water has paint color in it. It has the pigment that would catch on the cake batter or cake frosting stuff. And when the plumbers would come in to unclog it, they pull out the cake batter, but it looks like paint. It was never the paint. The paint wasn't the problem. The paint just got stopped up with the water, like with everything else. The paint was not clogging it. Moral of the story, as long as you're not dripping that huge, thick, chunky paint, you're not going to have any problems. You can rinse it just fine. Just wipe the brush off on a paper towel first.
Without treats, these puppies are so sad. Your Patreon pledge of only $4 or more gives them cookies of happiness. Act now, and the bad cow gets a treat too. Oh, and you also get over 300 art lessons and a new one every single week, plus other rewards. Sign up at patreon.com/Lachri.